OWS Week steps in to Stand Up Chicago rally to raise the minimum wage and speeds along to Anaheim solidarity actions all across the US. Then says screeching halt for Stop the Frack Attack and AIDS awareness rallies in DC, while zigzagging up and down Portland for protests against an Obama fundraiser and an anti-eviction action to save a 79-year-old grandma's home. No justice, no peace.
Solidarity has been a constant refrain in the Occupy Wall Street movement, and the past 7 days have been no exception. Various Occupy factions joined with ACT UP and Robin Hood activists in Washington, D.C. to rally for economic justice and human rights.
My name is Jennifer Flynn, and I'm with Health Global Access Project and the Weekend End AIDS Mobilization. We are gathering here today. There's going to be 5 separate marches. Tens of thousands of people with AIDS and their allies are going to be swarming through the streets of Washington, D.C. We're going to be occupying lobbies of banks, targeting corporate power that keeps AIDS medications, treatment, and services out of the hands of people living with HIV and AIDS around the world. So we're going to be going after Bank of America, Wells Fargo, UPS, a corporate target. UPS is the largest funder of Congressmember Denny Rayburg, who actually reinstated the ban on federal funding for syringe exchange programs. Syringe exchange is one of the most effective public health interventions since the polio vaccine, and he decided to go ahead and put a ban on federal funding. We know last summer some science came out, a study came out that showed that we could actually end the AIDS pandemic in the next 30 years if we just had a tiny bit more money, just a little bit of an increase in investment. But when we go and we talk to people in power, they say we don't have money to end the AIDS pandemic. But unfortunately what happens is if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, then the epidemic gets out ahead of us again.
Call-outs for more taxes on the 1% blended with mobilization to end AIDS by increasing access to affordable generic treatments and harm reduction efforts for at-risk populations.
Right now I'm wearing this Robin Hood hat because I want to symbolize that we could pass a Robin Hood tax here in the United States, 0.5%, a tiny, tiny tax, way less than any of us pay on the sales tax that we expect to pay when we buy almost any item in the world. All of us are accustomed to paying sales tax, much less than 0.5%. That tiny tax on speculative stock transactions that would target big banks, only big banks, it could raise $350 billion a year. That's $350 billion a year. That could end the AIDS pandemic, create the largest jobs program that any of us ever dreamed of, fight climate change, go to build housing for millions of Americans, get back some of the homes that people have lost due to foreclosures. All of that could happen with the Robin Hood tax.
On July 24th, Los Angeles activists illustrated another trait of the movement: persistence. Occupy LA's ongoing siege on CCA continues to shine light on the Central City Association and its plans for downtown makeovers at the expense of poor neighborhoods. Activist and camper efforts have brought local media attention to the human price of gentrification, and more citizens have become involved. Show the way, OLA.
Hi, my name is Paula Jocko, and I've been a teacher for 12 years. I am here today because right now there are tens of thousands of CPS students whose parents earn at or below the minimum wage. The current minimum wage of $8.25 an hour means that a single parent working full-time earns only $17,000 a year, which is below the poverty line.
Over in Chicago on the same day, Stand Up Chicago brought 99ers from many groups together for a rally to raise the minimum wage, joining together in a carnival atmosphere to call for a minimum wage a family can actually live on. Three marches converged on the Chamber of Commerce from three starting points in the city, all involved standing up for the hard-working people of Illinois.
We are the 99%. We are the 99%. We are the 99%.
What is your name and how do you spell it?
Okay, Elizabeth Parisian, Elizabeth Parisian.
All right. Who are you with and what is your position with the group?
I'm with Stand Up Chicago. I'm the policy analyst. Do you want me to look at the camera?
What?
Or do you want me to look at you or at the camera? Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Now, all right. Now, what is Stand Up Chicago? Is it an acronym? What does it do? Tell me a little about the group.
Okay, well, Stand Up Chicago is a coalition of dozens of community, labor, and faith groups here in Chicago. So we're all coming together to advocate for, good jobs. We want good, we're coming together to speak out for our jobs, our homes, our schools, and stronger communities.
Okay. Now, how many groups were involved in this one?
Oh, I think dozens, again.
Can you name me some of the top groups? Just on top of your head, don't be comprehensive.
Absolutely. Arise Chicago, we had Lakeview Action Coalition, Action Now, SEIU, Stand Up Chicago, of course. Just rattling them off the top of my head, those are the top five.
Okay. Why three different rally points?
We've done this before. We think it's kind of nice to have, three different rallies with three different focuses. So, for example, the Chicago Teachers Union chose to hold their rally in front of the Board of Education because they're making the point that, this is raising the minimum wage is something that the Chicago Board of Education should support. We had another group that met in front of the Capitol Grill. There were a lot of restaurant workers in that group. As we know, restaurant workers, legally can make less than the minimum wage. And they're involved in a fight with, some of these big restaurant corporations that are really trying to squeeze their workers. And then we had a bunch of folks meet at the Thompson Center, which was kind of just the catch-all for everyone else.
Okay, you guys tend to try to make this kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, it makes a difference. I mean, we've got, obviously, you can have people stand up and speak and really share stories from the heart. And, obviously that's very effective in moving. But sometimes when you have a very serious subject, like folks living in poverty and working 3 jobs for minimum wage, it's nice to have an element of entertainment as well. So we know that folks who come out to our events are really happy to see the bands. They love the music. The acrobats have been a huge hit. They do a little bit of performance, kind of lighten the mood, and actually they can it just enhances our message to have that element like the theatrics.
Keep the whole thing positive. Use
Absolutely.
Theatrics to get the message across in a not dour Sunday morning television sort of way.
Exactly. I mean, people are tired of being beat over the head with the same talking points and the same kind of negative attacks. I mean, that's not what we're about because we've got solutions for this stuff. I mean, there's an easy way to solve the problem of people working hard and not having enough to feed their families, raise the minimum wage. So that's why we came out today.
Now,
Meanwhile, Portland, Oregon greeted President Obama with a quantity of folks on the streets, some pro, some con, but all very vocal. The president was in town for another high-priced luncheon fundraiser, and security was extreme. 4 blocks shut down around the venue, freeway entrances blocked, with plenty of horseback and riot police staged for action. Portland activists and occupiers added their voices to the mix, but the president did not appear before the people.
So she lived here.
Occupy Portland also found the time to take a stand for Annette Steele, an elderly grandmother about to lose her home to foreclosure by a Citigroup lender.
I'm not worried about the people's coming here tonight. If they come, they come, and if they don't, they don't. But I will be here. I'm not going to leave. How would you feel if you go to someone, ask them for help, and they tell you they can't help you? How will you feel?
She has lived in her home for 25 years and was facing a forced eviction. Community supporters and local media gathered to hear Ms. Steele's story and witness her courageous stand. She says she shall not be moved.
What's going on here right now is that the corporate and the evil banks are trying to evict this lady out of her house. She's been in. She's, I think she said she was 80-something, I'm not sure. And so we gathered together in solidarity with her and to show support that they got to stop moving people out their homes and give them an opportunity to stay in their home.
No justice, no peace, no racist police!
A constant chord throughout the week was solidarity in many U.S. cities in the wake of Anaheim, California police actions the weekend of July 21st.
We're here to stand in solidarity with Anaheim. Anaheim protesters who are out trying to reclaim their neighborhoods, their city, from police violence after 2 police shootings within a week, and after today a 3rd police shooting within a week. We're out demonstrating peacefully and were attacked by police. Women and children were attacked by dogs and shot at with rubber bullets, and their marches and rallies expanded in numbers and police violence towards them greatly increased. So we're out here to show support.
A young man was killed by police and neighborhood outrage was met with more violence. Subsequent peaceful protests encountered additional force, resulting in multiple injuries and arrests. Residents of this Anaheim neighborhood have gathered every Sunday for 2 years at the police station to bring awareness to their city and Orange County. Most large cities are no strangers to police violence. Many police departments appear to be waging war on low-income communities and communities of color. OWS has been highlighting this situation consistently, so it comes as no surprise that occupiers staged solidarity actions across the country during the week, calling for citizen support, investigations, and an end to police brutality in their towns. On Sunday, activists from many California towns headed to Anaheim to stand with the people. Anaheim PD called in reinforcements, fortified their station, and appeared ready for battle. Protesters intent on maintaining the peace despite anger, grief, and frustration entered a standoff with authorities who seemed to have adopted a new motto: to suppress rather than to protect and serve.
Can I go inside? I can't go inside.
What we understand better than anybody is what it's like when somebody stereotypes somebody you love as a violent criminal who deserved to die. Nobody deserves to die, but especially in the way that they were murdered, nobody deserves that. And when we act in a violent manner out here, we're playing into their hands. We're playing the role that they assign us, because they're the ones that are telling everybody that we're the outside agitators and that we're the violent rabble, and we're not. We're campaigning for justice in a patient, courageous way. We're willing to take the time and the steps necessary to really achieve the changes that our loved ones deserve. The loved ones that they stole from us deserve a legacy that they can be proud of and we can be proud of. And the only one that they deserve is change. And things need to change. These departments need to change. Anaheim needs to change the way it looks at its community.
Fuck fascist forces! No batons! No horses! Fuck fascist forces!
I hate to see it when it gets worse.
Justice! Now! Peace now! We should have a designated meeting. cochina, racista y asesina. They say get back, we say fight back. They say get back, we say fight back.
¿Cuándo la queremos?
Ahora. You're fascist, you're racist, you're a fascist, racist institution. You're fascist, you're racist, you're a fascist, racist institution.
Get those animals off them horses.
Make a U-turn at West Broadway.
Get them animals off them horses.
Take the street! Take the street! This is our right!
Can't wait to beat somebody,
Press, I need to film that gun. I'm press, I need to film that gun. Excuse me, I'm press, I need to film that gun.
Last but not least, in a week full of action,
we are here today to call on the President and Congress for a real and meaningful energy plan that transitions our country to a clean and renewable energy future.
thousands of people from the U.S. and various parts of the world, including Australia, united in Washington, D.C. Saturday for a rally on the West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol, demanding Congress take immediate action to stop fracking, a dirty and dangerous method of extracting natural gas from the earth.
And I'm from Mansfield, Ohio. What got me involved in this issue is the permitting of 2 injection wells within our city property, and we were told that ODNR had full authority to permit these wells, and there was nothing that the people could do to stop them. There's been an uprising in our community, a bonding, and we approached City Council, and we have successfully banned the injection wells. The permits have been removed. It's to criminalize fracking fluid within the city limits. I'm here today in support of a fracking ban nationwide and globally.
Protesters marched for more than an hour, stopping at the headquarters of America's Natural Gas Alliance and American Petroleum Institute. People who have been negatively affected by fracking in their communities joined forces with 136 local and national organizations to call on Congress to stop the Frack Attack and protect Americans.
Almost immediately in the area we started seeing impacts to water wells, to the air quality, to the land, animals dying, and we spent years trying to get the state of Wyoming and industry to do something about it, and with no success whatsoever. So we organized a grassroots community organization. We approached the EPA and asked them to come in and do a groundwater study. They came in, did the study. There's a draft report released last December that tentatively links our water contamination to hydraulic fracturing.
Look at those steps.
No fracking way! No fracking way! No fracking way! No fracking way! New York State will not be fracked.
You and Russell are the point people. I gotta go. Don't wait for me, I'll meet you.
I don't know if I should smile. It's not very happy thought.
Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now! Ban fracking now!
Okay.
I knew you were flying here.
We do. We got them on there. Oh, spread things out a little bit. Yeah.
Drama, hey! Obama! We don't want no fracking drama, hey! Obama! We don't want no fracking drama, hey! It's our right! It's our water! It's our right!
Pittsburgh!
We get sick and they don't care! Poison water, poison air! We get sick and they don't care! The people, united, will never be defeated. Another world is possible. Operations Bang! The water! The water! Operations Bang! The water!
Occupy means to engage interest, to hold the attention of, to reside in. Mainstream media continues to black out the movement and distort its meaning to no avail. The whole world is still watching. Better yet, the whole world is activating. Occupy humanity.